Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mouthing Off with Mike, the only wrestling podcast that knows an underdog is a hungry dog. And ladies and gentlemen, WrestleMania is all about those underdog stories. And what better place to have WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the home of the biggest underdogs in the National Football League, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I'm a diehard Eagles fan, and I know we're in Philadelphia, so I know I got plenty of Eagles fans around me. So go Birds, fly Eagles, fly. We're going to be at the link. It's going to be rocking 2 nights of WrestleMania action. And ladies and gentlemen, the party don't stop because there's going to be content all through this week of WrestleMania here on Mouthing Off with Mike. You can take a look here on the video podcast of this week's schedule. For my audio listeners, look, I'm going to hit you with the WrestleMania predictions here. My NXT Stand and Deliver predictions are already out with this video, so make sure you go check out those predictions. Audio as well is also out there. We're going to have the WrestleMania WWE World / Superstore vlog for you Thursday night. We're going to have Friday night SmackDown on the Hall of Fame vlog for you Friday night, possibly Saturday morning, depends on if I sleep at all. We got the Saturday NXT Stand and Deliver vlog, night 1 of WrestleMania, Sunday, night 2 of WrestleMania vlog, Monday Night Raw after Mania vlog. So stay tuned. Subscribe to Mouthing Off with Mike, wrestling podcast here on YouTube. And if you're listening on the other side, make sure you leave a follow and you rate this episode. And make sure you check out my YouTube if you're not already subscribed. I'm running a great contest on social media. All you got to do is subscribe, reply to the tweet with screenshot, and you're entered. That's it. It's that simple. We'll see. I know it's a little complicated, but let's go ahead and get into WrestleMania 40. Each night, I'm going to give you my predictions, talk about how we got here, and when we get into night 2, I'll be joined by Michael Davis of Drop the Mic. So let's go ahead and get into WrestleMania, baby.
Mouthing Off with Mike, Mouthing Off with Mike, Mouthing Off with Mike.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to Mouthing Off with Mike's WrestleMania predictions. As you can see by the shirt, it's MOWMMANIA, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mouthing Off with Mike Mania. It's running wild. These, I don't know, maybe 11-inch pythons are rare and ready to go here, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to WrestleMania, first match I want to take a look at here on the WrestleMania Night 1 card, Saturday night, is the master of the 619 WWE Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio going to tag team with the newest member of the Lucha World Order, the Latino World Order, Dragon Lee. The new face of Lucha Libre is what he's been billed as. And ladies and gentlemen, Dragon Lee is so good. I love watching him wrestle, man. It's like watching a painter paint a beautiful portrait. He just goes out there and he gives it his all, and he paints a beautiful picture in the ring. Those two are going up against Santos Escobar of the Legado del Fantasma and Dirty Dominick Mysterio from the Judgment Day. Now, the Judgment Day are not too happy about this budding friendship between Legado and Dominick, because Dominick went over to SmackDown just last week to go ahead and interfere in his father's and Santos match while he was wearing a Rey Mysterio mask himself, Dominick. And that's how we got to this tag team match. So a little bit late addition to the WrestleMania card, but it balances out nicely. I'm excited for this match. Preferably, I would have liked to have seen Legado and LWO, all of the members, take on each other in a large multi-person match, which would have included Zelina and Elektra Lopez for their respective factions. But we're getting a different faction warfare on night 2, and I'm very excited about it. 2 guys who missed WrestleMania last year that are going to be on the card this year with Cross and Lashley. But for this match, this is going to be a great tag team match. Going to be a great, I think personally, this should open Saturday night. It would be a great energy, the Lucha Libre styles with Dom, Santos, Rey, and Dragon Lee. They're going to go out there and tear the house down. I'm going to give the win here to Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee at WrestleMania 40. we're going back to an old WrestleMania tradition with this next match, ladies and gentlemen. We've got ourselves a ladder match, but not just any old ladder match, ladies and gentlemen. No, no, no. This ladder match is a 6-pack ladder match challenge to determine some new tag team champions. And yes, I said tag team champions because Michael Cole on this past Monday Night Raw expressed adamantly that the match will continue until both sets of titles are taken down. So, ladies and gentlemen, that means SmackDown, they're going to have a team that wins the SmackDown tag titles and a team on Raw to win the Raw tag titles. Two different teams will take down their respective tag team championship, and we are going to finally, I prayed for this. Cue the Drew McIntyre. I prayed for this. And it happened. It finally happened, ladies and gentlemen. We're finally getting two separate tag divisions to have their own championships, and I'm so happy. I am so ecstatic. Now, this is a popular pick here when it comes to the tag title match, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna lean into the favorites, the betting odds favorites, to win the Raw Tag Team Championship. The Awesome Truth. What's up? What's up? Ladies and gentlemen, R-Truth is getting his signature WrestleMania moment this late in the game, but I'm so happy for him. Him and Miz, they're going to be a fun tag team to kind of transition those titles to a new team. I could see them transitioning to DIY in Cleveland easily, SummerSlam, maybe even before then. But Awesome Truth will win the Raw tag titles. On the SmackDown side, A-Town Down Under is going to win the SmackDown tag titles and bring the SmackDown championships back to SmackDown and that tag division. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Your new Raw tag team champions, the Awesome Truth, the Miz, and R-Truth, what's up? And your new SmackDown tag team champions, A-Town Down Under. This is going to be a great ladder match. This is the most competitors we've ever seen in a ladder match in WWE, and this is going to be an absolute train wreck, and I can't freaking wait. A match that a lot of people were shocked that is going to be taking place here at WrestleMania is going to see the ultimate underdog. I know that's Rey Mysterio's thing, but look, he's calling himself the contender, the underdog, whatever you want to call him. If you want to call him Rocky, hell, you can call him Rocky. Sami Zayn is going to take on the Ring General Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. And this past Monday on Raw, we got a spectacular video package. I wouldn't even say it was a video package. It was basically like watching an episode of like a sports show on the CW. That's what it felt like. This didn't even feel like I was watching Monday Night Raw. I felt like I was watching, a movie about wrestling. This was well done, well executed. The training montage with Gable and Zayn. Gable lost to Zayn in the gauntlet match to determine Gunther's number one contender. Sami ended up winning that match, and he will take on the Ring General. This is going to be a really great match. Don't sleep on this match. Sami Zayn is a match clinic, man. Like, the guy can put on a 5-star match. I know the star thing is goofy, but look, he can go out there and he can put on a show for the fans. Gunther has proved that he is a fantastic wrestler and a fantastic champion. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't think Sami Zayn has got it. And I think the Ring General Gunther retains his Intercontinental Championship in an absolutely hard-hitting brawl that he inevitably retains the Intercontinental Championship in. For only the third time in WrestleMania history, we are getting brother versus brother, Yeet versus no Yeet, Uso versus Uso, twin versus twin, when Jimmy Uso takes on Jey Uso in the third ever brother versus brother WrestleMania match. And let me tell you, this is another match that I would put on the radar, ladies and gentlemen, that could steal the entire weekend of WrestleMania. I think Trick and Mello can do it. I also think Jimmy and Jay can do it. Now, look, the story goes back years ago. We are talking almost 2021. The original Bloodline story. Hell in a Cell, Jey Uso versus his cousin Roman Reigns. Jimmy Uso was dragged in the middle of it. He protected his cousin. He protected his brother. Then Jimmy was the catalyst for Jimmy and Jay to leave the bloodline, only for Jimmy to stay with the bloodline in the ultimate swerve of swerves, costing his own brother 3 championship opportunities over the last year when it comes to Jay's singles career. It all came to a head when Jey Uso was taking on the ring general for the Intercontinental Championship on an episode of Raw a few weeks ago, and Jimmy Uso once again cost his brother a singles title. Jimmy is hurt. He's upset. He's jealous. He feels that Jay has turned his back on him, and he feels that because Jay went and won tag titles with Cody, even though they only hold him for 9 days, he was betrayed by this. He was betrayed by his brother for going out there and trying to win championships without him. These two are finally coming to a head at WrestleMania Night 1, Saturday night, and I'm looking forward to this match. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am a member of the Yeet delegation, and yeet, Jey Uso is getting a massive singles win at WrestleMania 40 against his own brother. Keep an eye on this match, folks. Mark my words, it could steal the entire night of Saturday. Hell, it could steal the entire weekend of WrestleMania. These two might go out there and tear the house down. For the first time ever in WrestleMania, a storm is coming. And I hope not a rain or a snowstorm, because that Pennsylvania weather is crazy the first week of April. But the storm that's coming is in the form of megastar, soon to be Jade Cargill. She's going to tag team with the EST of WWE, because you can't spell WrestleMania without ESTA, Bianca Belair, and their tag team partner. You better feel it, ladies and gentlemen. Feel that glow, because their final partner is Naomi. Those 3 incredible athletes, women's wrestlers, icons, and inspirations are going to take on Damage Control, the Kabuki Warriors, Kairi Sane, and Asuka, the women's tag team champions, and the ringleader behind everything, the cause of Bayley's demise, Dakota Kai, in 6-woman tag team action in the WrestleMania debut of Jade Cargill. Now, interesting things to note here, ladies and gentlemen. Bianca Belair has an undefeated streak at WrestleMania up to this point. She's going to be in a tag team match. Now, I don't know how streaks work when it comes to those WrestleMania streaks. I know Undertaker was all about those singles matches. I don't think he ever really had a tag team match in WrestleMania history. So, with that being said, I foresee Jade, Bianca, and Naomi getting a massive win over Damage Control. This match has my full attention. The walkout of Jade, the entrance, the vibe, the aura, as cheesy as it sounds. You've got Bianca, established, an icon in WWE. Naomi, another established icon, not only in WWE, but TNA and across the world now, thanks to her independent/TNA run last year. This is what more could you want, ladies and gentlemen? You know, this is history. Also, to be honest with you, and I say it in the nicest way possible. I didn't think, 10 years ago, we would see 3 strong black women tag team on WrestleMania. I didn't think that was possible. And I'm so happy it is, because this is exactly what you want in pro wrestling. Wrestling is for everyone. Wrestling is for everyone. Everyone wants to be seen in wrestling. You want to have someone that you can look at and be like, they look like me. And that's what Bianca and Jade and Naomi are doing for young black girls. And it's awesome, man. I love it. And I hope we see more and more and more of it, because for those kids out there, when they look at the screen, they want to see someone that looks like them. And it's all about inclusion and having a diverse roster, which is what WWE has. This seriously, brings me so much joy to say, and I'm so happy, and I cannot wait to see the 3 of them take on Damage Control. It's going to be a great match, but even more, it's that moment that just feels so right. And I can't wait. And I have a feeling this match will, in fact, turn into a year-long build for Jade and Bianca. Keep an eye on that. But this feels good, man. This is what you want to see in pro wrestling, especially women's wrestling. The impact that this will have alone is going to be awesome. Seriously. We got Mommy going up against the man for the WWE Women's World Championship. We got Mommy Rhea Ripley defending her title against the man, Becky Lynch. She just dropped the book last week, and I got to say, it's a really good read, man. It is really a great introspect into who Becky, or I should say, who Rebecca is at her core. And seriously, guys, go check it out. I'm not sponsored, so you know it's legit when I'm saying it, because ain't nobody paying me to say it. I'm saying it to say it. I am excited for this match. Rhea Ripley made it personal last Monday on Raw when she invoked Becky's daughter, Rue. She told Becky that her daughter will call her mommy. Then, Becky went on Ariel Helwani's show last week, the day after her book came out. She kind of talked about how, Rhea only really shows her ass, and that's why fans like her, and she's over here, doing stink faces, and she should be worried. It's great. It's great, make great television. Then today, I shouldn't say today, then this past Monday on Ariel's show, Rhea was on the show, and Becky crashed the show, and they almost came to, but Monday Night Raw that night, they did in fact brawl. They brawled all throughout the ring, all up the ramp. Adam Pearce was losing his goddamn mind. Adam Pearce probably had a couple cocktails, a couple libations, as Cody and Jay would say, probably after Raw ended, because he had his hands full with these two. They were beating the hell out of each other. Rhea and Becky's going to be a hard match to follow, because me personally, I put this in the co-main event spot with Rock, Roman, Seth, and Cody after this, because I think Becky and Rhea could end up outshining that tag match. That's a hot take. I don't care. You could say it's a Homer Simpson take like Mike does to me from Drop the Mic, but I'm going to tell you right now, Becky and Rhea could steal the show and steal the spotlight from that tag team main event for Saturday night, because they're that damn good, and they know that they should have realistically main evented night one or night two if they were on night two. I truthfully think Iyo and Bayley or this could have main evented night one. No doubt in my mind. But obviously the tag match, you got mega stars in action. You got The Rock here, first match since WrestleMania 28. Since they maybe had a little dust up at like 32 with the Wyatt family. R.I.P. Bray. The documentary came out this week. I haven't got around to watching it yet because I'm just not emotionally ready to watch it, to be honest with you. I know I will bawl my eyes out like a little baby. As for Becky and Rhea, this is going to be a great match, guys. I'm torn in my decision, but I'm going to go with my gut here. And my gut tells me that Mommy Rhea Ripley will retain her Women's World Championship at WrestleMania and get another signature win over a 4-horse woman. She got one last year at 39 against Charlotte. This year is going to be against Becky. Wouldn't be shocked next year it's against Bayley. And maybe one day Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks comes back into the fold and we get that dream match of Rhea versus Sasha. That's something I'd love to see at a WrestleMania. Because if the trend continues, Rhea's going to have another horsewoman next year at WrestleMania, or maybe Bianca Belair. You never know. WrestleMania 41 is a year away, so obviously let the speculation begin, but it's kind of like looking at the Super Bowl odds when the Super Bowl just ended for next year. So keep an eye on it, but Mommy's retaining that title against Becky, and I think Becky's going to take some time off, be a mom for a bit, do her book stuff. I also think Seth will be doing the same. We'll get into that when we get into night 2 predictions here later on the show, because I'm going to do this night 1, night 2. But Mommy Rhea Ripley, she's leaving WrestleMania, or WrestleMommy, and still Women's World Champion. We have made it to the main event of night 1, Saturday night of WrestleMania, and that's going to see the final boss, the Brahma Bull, the People's Champion, The Rock. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, he's going to tag team with his cousin, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. and they're going to take on the team of Seth frickin' Rollins, the World Heavyweight Champion, and the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. The stakes are an all-time high, ladies and gentlemen, because Sunday's main event is Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship, Part 2. We know 39 did not end the way the American Nightmare wanted. I was deflated. I left with my little sticker, Cody Rhodes neck tattoo, Cody Rhodes merch, and I was dejected that night. Now we have a chance to finish the story on night 2 with no bloodline if Seth and Cody win this tag team match. If they do not win it, bloodline rules for night 2. We're going to have Solo Sikoa ushering us in with the national anthem. The Rock's going to be on commentary. Jimmy might be the timekeeper. And who knows, Rikishi might come in as the special enforcer. Who knows what could happen when bloodline rules. Now we got a taste of it Monday night on Raw with Seth and Solo. And The Rock and Roman absolutely whipped and beat down Seth and Cody with Cody's own weight belt to the point where Rock even held up Cody's weight belt. Could that be foreshadowing? Now, I don't think The Rock is going to turn on Roman, but I do think The Rock is going to, in fact, cost Roman somehow, whether he's too involved, whether the focus is he's taking too much attention away from Roman. I think there's going to be some dissension between the two in this tag match that leads into night 2 and bleeds over, which might end up being the reason Cody Rhodes finishes his story or doesn't finish his story. We'll get into those predictions a little bit later on here on the show. But for this tag team match, I'm giving the win to the Bloodline. The final boss, The Rock, and the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, will beat Cody and Seth night 1 in the main event, which will set up Cody and Roman's match to be Bloodline rules, and in turn open the portals like it happened in Endgame, where the Avengers come on out and the Cody Vengers were going to come on out, and we might see the glass break. We might not see anything in the sense of John Cena. Who knows? Anything's possible, but I'm giving the tag match to the Bloodline, Rock and Roman, to win the night 1 main event. When we come back in just one moment on the show, I will be joined by good brother, you know him, you love him, the host of Drop the Mic and Out of Pocket on the Tobacco Road Sports Radio, Michael Davis. And we're going to go ahead and get into a lively discussion about these night 2 matches, particularly the main event, because he's a Roman Reigns stan and I'm a Cody crybaby. So when we get back into it, Mike will be on the show talking night 2 WrestleMania predictions. Stay tuned. Come back into Mouthing Off with Mike. I told you when I concluded my night 1 predictions that I was going to be joined by good brother, friend of the podcast, host of Drop the Mic and Out of Pocket on the Tobacco Road Sports Radio. I got my man, Mike Davis. What's going on, brother? You ready to talk some WrestleMania?
I am ready to talk some WrestleMania. I am so pumped. I'm so psyched. I've been dropping little wrestling segments here and there all week on Out of Pocket, and I'll keep doing that because, dude, this is my weekend. Like, this is the weekend. So, dude, I'm so happy to be back on Mouth Off with Mike.
Oh, dude, it is my pleasure to have you. You've had me on Out of Pocket probably 3 Tuesdays running. Got me waking up at the crack of dawn to talk some sports. I'm rubbing the crusties out of my eyes, and I'm getting into arguments with Dez about Roman and Cody Rhodes. And that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Wrestling, in the words of the final boss, The Rock, wrestling is cool again. It was always cool. If you're a fan like Mike and I, it was always cool. So we never really had to say, it's back. But we got predictions. We got a whole second night of WrestleMania. We had 7 matches on night 1. It looks like we're going to have 6 as of the moment we record this here. So you should be listening to this and watching this for your Wednesday. And we'll be right on the road to WrestleMania. We'll be He's throwing me off. This guy. He's doing the Jameis Winston. Eat a dub. And we'll be literally 4 days away from WrestleMania. At that point from Saturday. So the first match that we're going to take a look at with Mike here. It's an easy one to start. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the newest match on the WrestleMania card that it's going to see the Pride, Bobby Lashley, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins taking on the Final Testament, Karrion Kross, Akam, and Razar, the AOP, in a Philly street fight, ladies and gentlemen. Mike, how do you feel about this one? Who's your winner, and what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, I'm finally glad we gave Bobby Lashley's group a name. It was literally just Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, and then they added B-Fab randomly. Like, we were like, what is the name of this group? Is this Hurt Business? Is this Excellence? Like, what is going on here? Is Lashley just the newest Street Profit? Like, we had so many questions, and I'm so glad we finally nailed down a name, the Pride. Don't know if that fits them. I've but at least you give them a name, right? Like that's a good start. Means we'll probably keep this group going for quite some time. I could totally see one of those like feel good WrestleMania moments for Lashley and the Street Profits, get a win, get the fans happy. But dude, I am adamant that the Final Testament need this win. If you're the dominant heel group and you're facing this face group for the first time, Lashley's a former world champion. Street Profits, former tag team champions. Karrion Kross hasn't really done much, and he was the first return under the Triple H era. Like, I met him a week before, or maybe like 5 days before he actually returned to SmackDown, and he's done nothing. He hasn't had anything sink his teeth into. I'm glad they gave them the WrestleMania spotlight rather than just throwing it on SmackDown like that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. But yeah, give me Kross and AOP winning. That would be incredible and just huge momentum for them going forward.
I like it, man. I like that pick. Look, this is good stuff. I'm a big fan of Lashley. I'm a big fan of the Street Profits. Hell, I really like B-Fab. I think she's got some potential. She's out there training in the dungeon with Natty. I spoke about it on my show this week. Look, Natty she's out there training some of your favorites, both male and female wrestlers. So, you got to put some respect on the boat's name. I'm also going with the Final Testament here to get a win. I agree. I think the AOP and Kross really could use a win here. This would be a great rivalry to solidify at WrestleMania. Maybe you do one more match at Backlash, and maybe you do a 50-50 booking just for the sake of, Lashley and the Profits getting some momentum. I think the thing that needs to happen now with the Final Testament Kross AOP is when we see the results of the tag team ladder match, and I made the prediction, Mike, earlier on the show that 2 different teams are going to win. Okay, so I have the Awesome Truth winning the Raw tag titles, and I have A-Town Down Under winning the SmackDown tag titles, because Michael Cole emphasized on Raw this past week that the match will continue until both sets of titles are pulled down, which alludes me to think one of the sets of titles will be pulled down first, and the second title set will be pulled down second.
You know what? I know we're talking about night 2. Oh my gosh, you just
I opened the doors for you.
Piece. You unlock that piece, because it would be so R-Truth for R-Truth to grab one set of the titles.
Yep, exactly.
Go celebrate, and Miz is like, "What are you doing? There's another set."
Exactly.
And then A-Town Down Under grab the other set. That could happen. That should happen.
I think you saw all the fan theories of people saying like, they're going to split the titles by having 2 separate teams take them. Well, if that's the case, then it would be awesome if Awesome Truth got that title. And it'd be even funny with R-Truth, because like you said, you hit the nail on the head. He could pull it down and be like, "Miz, look, we won." And Miz would be like, "Dude, you got to get the other set." And then by that time it's too late. So I think that'd be even funnier. But I think AOP then pivot right into the SmackDown tag titles from this. I think that's what you need to do, and get Kross mixed up in the U.S. Championship match, which is the next match we're going to talk about here. We'll get Kross mixed up in the U.S. title scene. We got Logan Paul defending his United States Championship against Kevin Owens and the Viper, Randy Orton. Give me your predictions.
So everybody who has listened to Mouthing Off with Mike, Drop the Mic, Out of Pocket, Me at Walmart, understands that I do not like Logan Paul. For some reason, when people find out that I'm a wrestling fan, like in town or whatever, and they're like, oh, what do you think about Logan Paul? And I'm like, gosh, you could ask me about The Rock. You could ask me about you could ask me about anything else. John Cena even, but you're going to ask me about Logan Paul. Give kudos where it's due. Like, Logan Paul has really like soaked up a lot of the wrestling stuff to make you a hated heel. Still under the thought that Logan Paul and Dominick Mysterio should team up somewhere down the road and be a tag team, because that would
heat-seeking missiles.
Oh my goodness. But I would really love to see Randy Orton recreate an RKO moment. You know, you go back to WrestleMania 31, and it's one of the best RKOs of all time. I'm writing an article about it right now, where Orton hits one of the prettiest RKOs ever on Seth Rollins to get the win at WrestleMania 31. I think Orton could hit a really moment-making RKO on Logan Paul and win the United States title. And then Orton hold it for a month or two and then give it to the next guy who needs a real rub for beating a future Hall of Famer in Randy Orton.
I like it. So you're going with Randy to get the U.S. title here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like it. And you're also making the prediction that there's going to be a crazy RKO, because I definitely see that happening too. I mean, you got KO. You could do a little pop-up power bomb into an RKO with Logan. You could even do the buckshot lariat into an RKO from Logan. You know, so there's some options there. You know, there could be a cool RKO coming. It could be some crazy top rope. It is a triple threat, so there really are no rules. So you might see some weapons. You might see something crazy take place. I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. Logan Paul is going to retain his United States Championship, and I think he's going to get help.
From who?
His brother.
Oh, my goodness.
That's your WrestleMania prediction. That's your hot take from Mouthing Off with Mike. I think either Jake or KSI is getting involved in the U.S. title match. I think KSI because Randy RKO'd him on SmackDown. Also, we forgot to mention, WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 will be the first time WWE will have center mat sponsorship with Logan Paul's Prime Energy drink. So come WrestleMania, we will see that fat old Prime bottle in the middle of the ring, and that's going to be very weird to say the least. Just want to touch on that while we're talking about Logan Paul. But I think Logan Paul...
It's so distracting. Like, it's going to be so distracting.
It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird. I mean, Mick Foley even posted a picture of him getting thrown through Hell in a Cell with the Prime logo, and he was like begging WWE, please don't do this. And I was kind of like, yeah, what would that have looked like during the most iconic moments in the past of wrestling, if like there's just a big logo right there, like when Hogan dropped Andre for the body slam. Imagine, a logo being right there. Like, first of all, great promotion for that company, whoever it may be, but also like that just completely changes the whole dynamic of the historic image, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. All I have to say is Weezy F Baby is going to be performing at WrestleMania, and Weezy F Baby, and the F is for phenomenal in the case of the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, because he's taking on the LA Knight. Yeah, let me go ahead and hit you with the
Oh, he's got some
LA
merch.
Knight.
Oh,
Yeah, LA Knight.
I thought I was going on Mouth Off with Mike. I didn't know I was conducting an interview with LA Knight. LA Knight, LA. Big fan of yours. Met you at WrestleCade about 10 years ago under another alias. Do you think you're beating AJ Styles at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Well, that concludes our interview. Nice seeing you, and best of luck this weekend.
I had to do it for the one time. It's WrestleMania. It's mouthing off with Mike Mania. We're having fun here. We got Mike on the show, so you know there's shenanigans here and ensued. If you're on the audio side, on Tobacco Road or listening on Spotify and Apple, I did throw on my LA Knight glasses for Mike there, but I'm giving the win to LA Knight. It sounds like Mike is also taking LA Knight, or are you going with the phenomenal one?
Dude, it's a toss up. And here's why. I think AJ Styles is in position that he was in back at WrestleMania 32. His first WrestleMania singles match against Chris Jericho. AJ needed the win, but Jericho got the win.
Yeah.
And I feel like AJ doesn't need the win. I feel like LA Knight needs the win, especially after the year he's had. And this could continue a better spiral for AJ Styles into his heel turn being complete, but I don't know. Part of me just feels like AJ Styles is going to cheat and get away with a win and beat LA Knight at WrestleMania.
So remember the other day on Out of Pocket when Dez brought up Tama Tonga?
Mm-hmm.
Could we see that here instead? Could it be an AJ Styles alliance with Tama Tonga? We got history there. That's what people
kind of like. Oh wait, hold up. We got something here because wasn't I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 years ago. It was probably 2 years ago. Edge wrestled AJ Styles, I believe, and that's where Damian Priest came out and helped and formed Judgment Day. What if AJ is like, oh, great idea, I'll take that and recruit Tama Tonga to help him beat LA Knight?
There could be something there. I mean, I am only thinking that because Dez has brought it up a few times on Out of Pocket, where every time we did Top Rope Tuesday, and there's a connection there with Styles too, where I would be like, I could argue. I don't think so. I think if we see him, might be some bloodline shenanigans here, but we'll get into that in a few minutes. I think LA Knight has to get the win, but I think people are overlooking this match. I think this match could be a sleeper on night 2. Seriously, I really do. I think LA Knight's so over with the crowd. That crowd's going to be going nuts for him. He's probably going to get a special entrance with Slim Jim because he's the big premier athlete. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a cool special Slim Jim themed entrance. And I think AJ, here's a guy who can go out there and have a match with a broomstick and have a 5-star match, in the words of Goofy Dave Meltzer, as CM Punk likes to call him. This is such an easy one for me. I mean, as much as we wanted LA Knight to be in the U.S. title picture scene, this is a great first WrestleMania to have against the phenomenal one.
And look, AJ Styles has never disappointed at WrestleMania, whether it was Chris Jericho, whether it was Shinsuke Nakamura, whether it was The Undertaker in the Boneyard match, Shane O'Mac. You've always looked at the match and you're like, man, I wish I could have better. Oh, is this the bathroom break match? And then you go and you're 3 minutes in and you're like, no, you have to be glued to that TV. So
he's that good.
I'm excited for it. And it can show. It can show another side to LA Knight because everybody knows LA Knight can talk and he can cut a promo. Yeah. But if you get to see him actually perform in the ring and see his skill set displayed on the biggest stage of the year of his career, this could launch him into sights unseen.
Mm-hmm. This could be the thing. We talk about breakouts. This could be the next breakout moment for Knight to hit that next level and be on that same level as a Cody Rhodes, a Roman Reigns, a Seth Rollins. He's right there.
Slow down on that one. Not Roman Reigns.
It's maybe not Roman Reigns, but he's very close to that next level and being in that upper main event scene. Speaking of upper main event scenes, ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a world heavyweight title match. We got the champ, Seth frickin' Rollins. Hopefully he's not too sore from Saturday night's tag team match with the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes, because he's defending his title against Play a Hater of the Year nominee, Drew McIntyre. What do you got here, Mike? What do you got for us? And we got CM Punk on commentary too.
That's the twist in it, and I don't know how that's going to come about. But you've been on Drop the Mic the last few weeks. You've been on Now Pocket, and we've touched on this a little bit. Seth Rollins being involved in the bigger Bloodline story has minimized his attention on his opponent at WrestleMania when he defends the World Heavyweight title against Drew McIntyre. I do not think that Drew McIntyre is in this position unless he is secretly re-signed with the company.
Right.
That
Agreed.
I believe. Same
Agreed.
thing with MJF last year. They never confirmed MJF had a contract. I don't think MJF has that run unless he's re-signed with the company.
I agree.
Therefore, if you look at Drew McIntyre's shirt, on the back of it, it's already checked off the spoiler for WrestleMania 40. It's checked off that he wins the World Heavyweight title, and that's what Drew has been chasing this entire time. He's been chasing that moment where he wins the world title at any cost at WrestleMania in front of a crowd, because he didn't get that a few years ago back in 2020 at WrestleMania 36. He won it in front of nobody as the biggest babyface. So he was like, that's not working for me anymore. Let me do this by any means necessary. Seth's distracted. Seth's potentially hurt following night one. Seth's also distracted because he and CM Punk have beef. And therefore, Drew McIntyre wins at WrestleMania. Now, here's the thing I'm back and forth on still to this day. When Damian Priest cashes in. Does Damian Priest cash in 24 hours after he loses the tag titles in that ladder match? Or does Drew at least have 24 hours until it's ripped away from him by Judgment Day and Damian Priest? That's the one I'm like, it could happen
Very
either way.
interesting.
But this won't be a long Drew McIntyre run.
I think Drew wins it as well. I think Punk being on commentary, I said it on your show last week. I said Punk being on commentary is the determinant to Priest cashing in. I think Punk stops Priest cashing in because Punk obviously wants Seth or Drew because they've been talking all this smack to one another for the last few weeks. So I think if anybody Punk wants to face, it's probably Drew more than Seth right now, just because Drew's had his name in his mouth nonstop. But I also see your side of this. I think there could be a cash-in on a Monday. Will it be a successful one? Will it be a failed one? I guess time will tell, because WrestleMania would be over, and that Raw after WrestleMania is always electric. There's always big-time surprises. I mean, last year's was the anomaly because last year's absolutely sucked. But hopefully this year Triple H knows that we need a really good Raw after WrestleMania, and that's a moment that would fit pretty nicely. But I got to give the win to Drew here. He gets his championship win in front of the fans, something that he's long sought after, and it has just been announced. Glasgow, Scotland will host Clash at the Castle June 15th. So if that doesn't give you any more of a reason to think Drew is winning, then I don't know what to tell you. They're going to his home country, ladies and gentlemen.
That's fair. He's going to have a big, prominent match, hopefully the main event. But also let me connect the dots with you. Like last year, Drew McIntyre and Judgment Day were in a spaff. They were in a spaff between.
That's true, they were.
They were trying to get Drew to join Judgment Day. They were kind of promising him the world title. It didn't, go as planned for Judgment Day. So CM Punk's still injured. Like, we're not immediately going into Drew versus Seth and then Drew versus Punk. Like, you need to create a gap, and there's a gap there between Drew and then Drew versus CM Punk. So what better way to fill it than for Damian Priest to cash in, take away Drew's dreams. So now Drew has to chase Damian Priest in enough time to get to Clash at the Castle.
I ain't mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. He gets his moment in front of the fans at WrestleMania, loses it the next night, goes on the chase till June, gets the biggest moment of his life in front of his family and friends in his home country. Doesn't get more storybook than that, ladies and gentlemen, from Drop the Mic, man. He's cooking here, ladies and gentlemen. Look, speaking of cooking, they cooked her. They threw her out. They gave her the Exodius. They beat her down. They don't care about her. She brought them back to the company. She created the strongest women's faction in WWE history. That's Bayley taking on the women's champion, the WWE women's champion, Iyo Sky, the genius of the Sky. At WrestleMania, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Bayley, your Royal Rumble winner. Feels like they haven't been giving her a lot of love when it comes to the promotions and the advertising, but that's okay. Bayley, you're always near and dear to our hearts because we love you. You know, we a big fan of Bayley since she was a hugger. Now she is one of the top women's wrestlers in the world. Who do you got here when it comes to the women's championship, Mike?
Mike, I just want to give a hug to you through the entire country. Okay,
There we go.
It's going to be such a phenomenal moment, and this is really Triple H's first like full-blood like WrestleMania. Like last year, there was questions how involved Vince was and everything, and then about a year and a half ago, Triple H brings Bayley and Damage Control back at SummerSlam, and that was considered Triple H's first pay-per-view as head of creative. So Triple H has given Bayley her flowers at several different press conferences, including the one after the Royal Rumble. And that just makes me believe that this was designed to give Bayley that moment. Now, Damage Control had its purpose because, last year's Backlash, almost a year ago, Iyo Sky has that match, and people are like, "Whoa, she can really go. Like, this is legit." So have Iyo Sky, get the Money in the Bank and then win the title, and now all of a sudden you get Bayley versus Iyo. And it's perfect for Bayley to win the title, have her WrestleMania moment, because I don't believe, if I'm recalling correctly, I don't believe she's had that WrestleMania moment. And for somebody like Triple H to admire Bayley the way that he does and she not have a WrestleMania moment, what better way than to do it at WrestleMania 40? I just hope that superfan Izzy is somewhere in attendance, preferably front row, for Bayley's iconic moment.
I hope so too. That I feel like that would mean a lot to Bayley. I feel like that would mean a lot to Izzy. I know Izzy. You know how we're getting old and the years keep coming and they don't stop coming.
Don't say it
because
don't
Izzy's now a professional wrestler.
I know,
and I think she's like 18, and she was a kid when we were watching her in NXT with Bayley and the whole hugging thing, and then she's crying. When Bayley got beat up that time, like. It's crazy to see like how time flies, man. Like we're getting old, and something that fans might be getting kind of old about, or feeling old, or might be getting old, or might be looking old, is going to be the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. He's taken on the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Whoa. For the WWE Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship of the world in the main event of WrestleMania Sunday night. Mike, go ahead. I'll let you have at it here. What's your pick? Let's hear it.
So you're expecting me to say...
I am.
You're expecting me to say it, that Roman Reigns retains the title. It's 2 back-to-back years where Cody's upset, and there's that shot of him facing away from the entrance ramp as Roman holds the titles up.
Yeah.
And I still expect that. I think that is the move. I really believe that you need Roman to beat Hogan's record. And when this reign started back in 2020, I can't remember who reported it. It might have been Dave Meltzer, who was like warning everybody, this title reign is not going to end for a very, very long time. And we were like, okay, whatever. I mean,
sure.
Where are we looking
man.
at?
Yeah, sure,
we're looking
old
at
man.
435 days beating CM Punk's record. I mean, what are we looking at? But dude, over the last 3.5, nearly 4 years, he has really changed and elevated the game. And we talked about Drew McIntyre earlier. We talked about Drew and how he led WWE through the pandemic and those months from like April to August and a little bit after with his feud with Randy. Roman took the business to another level when there was no business to be made once he returned in late August. I mean, that side by side of Roman Reigns joining Paul Heyman was like Austin joining Vince McMahon after their rivalry and their feud. And after Roman battled Brock Lesnar for so many years, now Roman's joined Paul Heyman, and ever since, with involving the bloodline, everything, and that storyline's still going. Des talked about it on Out Pocket on Tuesday afternoon that there's still meat on the bones in terms of this. I've watched the Roman Reigns documentary. I watched the Cody Rhodes documentary. And after watching both of those this week, WWE has done an incredible storyline telling job of like, I was 90% on Roman Reigns. Now it's like, it could literally go either way. I would say I'm about 60 to 40 on Roman right now, but there's been a 30% jump just because of the chase, just because it is WrestleMania 40. And if you look at WrestleMania 20, that iconic moment of the title changing, WrestleMania 30, that iconic moment of the title changing, Daniel Bryan and the chase that he had. And originally last year, I was like, hey, Roman's going to win this year. They're going to build Cody up like they built Cena up against The Rock. And then Cody can win at 40. And then I changed all the way to Roman. And now it's like, it's such a pendulum swift. And dude, I'm still taking Roman. I don't know how we get there, but we're eventually leading up to Roman versus The Rock either way. Hopefully at next year's WrestleMania. I've always said the title needs to be in that match because, I mean, The Rock is the final boss. Like, they've already said it. Like, that's Roman's final boss. He needs to beat him. And Roman taking a loss would be detrimental to his tribal chief or head of the table rank. Roman's hinted in his documentary that he's leaving WWE if he loses this weekend, which is not good for business. I don't know how long he leaves, but if it's like a flat out retirement, it's like, oh my gosh, this business has lost one of the GOATs. Like, he should be in the conversation of that Mount Rushmore, as we talked about Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's so tough, man. And WWE has done such a good job of like making people question or making people fully believe that it's literally going to be a 50-50 split in terms of who you think wins this weekend.
I can already sense it now. You know, I feel both the energies of that arena. You know, that stadium is going to be off the charts. You're going to have half the stadium, you know, Cody, you know, half the stadium, you know, Roman. It's going to be insane. And you can argue, yes, it is a 50-50 chance here on who's going to win this. I'm still sticking to my guns. I said this back in January and the new year. This was my prediction that Cody Rhodes will finish his story at WrestleMania. I think it's going to happen, man. I really do. I think the time has come. I think as much as Roman, round of applause, man. You've carried WWE on your back for the last 4 years, but it's time to lighten the load a little bit. You can take some time off. You can come back, get that program with The Rock getting cooked for next year's WrestleMania, and have the story of what the bloodline looks like without Roman holding the belt. I think the mental game of Roman losing his mind, like not being able to call himself the tribal chief or not having the championship, I think that tells more compelling stories than another year of Roman having the title, defending it, 3 times a year. Yeah, it feels prestigious. Yeah, it makes him feel bigger, but at the same time, you got guys that are ready right now to hold championships. You only have 2 world titles in WWE, Seth's championship and Roman's right now. So how are some of these guys going to hold the title if they don't even get a chance to ever fight for the title or win the title, at any point in their career? So I think this is going to be the start of, we're going to start seeing some new faces in the main event scene, I think, post WrestleMania. I think Cody wins the title, and I think the best way to do it, I think the first feud for Cody should in fact be Randy. Right out the gate.
Oh, yeah, because you're considering Logan Paul retains the United States title. I definitely want to see Cody versus Randy, especially at this stage of their careers. I think it's only fitting at some point, whether it be a SummerSlam or, bring back the Starrcade pay-per-view if you can.
They did it one
do it
year.
in,
I remember
December.
they did it. I remember they did it like the 1 year and it was like a live thing and they did a network special on WWE Network. I remember that whole thing. It was fun. I think the main event was like Rusev or Dolph Ziggler or something. One of them.
Yeah. Could you imagine like having a Starrcade like in December, after Survivor Series War Games, and having Cody wrestle for or defend the belt at Starrcade?
That's what I'm saying, baby.
Dude, that would be a special moment that WWE needs to give it to us.
That hits, dude. I think this WrestleMania is going to be, right now on paper, has the chance to be the best WrestleMania ever.
And we heard that too. Like TKO wanted, when this endeavor happened, TKO took over. They were like, we want Triple H to be in charge and we want this to be the greatest WrestleMania of all time. We heard The Rock and Nick Khan talking for months and months and months about, when do you introduce The Rock? Do you introduce The Rock? How does that look? Don't let this be a one-off. And with The Rock coming back and making this feel bigger over the last couple months, pretty much being on every SmackDown
every week,
except the one I went to. But
he, of course, right, the one you went to. I got to see him, so I'm sorry, buddy.
It must have been great. I probably would have appreciated it a little bit more since you're a Cody guy. I hope you didn't boo the final boss.
I enjoyed it.
Because he's still the people's champion.
I soaked it up. Honestly. It was one of those things where I was like, I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to be here in the moment,
But yeah, dude, I'm so excited for this WrestleMania.
I'm ready, dude. I'm so ready. When you're listening to this, you might be listening to the morning of WrestleMania Saturday. You might be listening to this the morning of Sunday, maybe Friday, maybe Thursday, maybe Wednesday. The instant premiere hits, and you're just, I want to listen to the Mouthing Off with Mike, and I appreciate that. I want to thank good brother Mike for joining me on the show this week. For this special edition of Mouthing Off with Mike for WrestleMania 40 predictions. Make sure you go check out my NXT Stand and Deliver predictions, as they're out there as well, because we got an action-packed weekend of wrestling. And stay tuned to Mike's socials. I'll pop them up here so you can stay up to date and check him out. Wednesday, you got Drop the Mic. Thursday, Friday, you got Out of Pocket as well on Monday and Tuesday. So make sure you subscribe to the Tobacco Road Sports Radio. Make sure you go follow Mike on social media. Mike, thank you so much, brother. And let's get ready for WrestleMania, baby.
Let's go!
Let's go!